Welcome to another installment of 5 Questions About the Utah Utes featuring Dirk Facer. Dirk, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to be here again. Big game up at Rice Eccles.
The Utes are now 5-1 and prepping for that home matchup that you were talking about against USC. Both teams are in the top 25. Now, Dirk, Devontae Booker had 89 carries over his last 3 games. He had just 31 over his first 3 games. Is there any concern that he might be carrying the ball too much?
There's a little bit of concern on the coaching staff. They're going to, cut down his reps in practice and such. But he's a workhorse and he's proven able. He gets stronger as the game goes on, ironically enough. So the carries don't seem to bother him. But there is the wear and tear. And the fact is, they're only halfway through the season. They still have 6 games to go. So I think they're going to see his reps get cut down in practice and then probably in games too if they can get the passing game going.
No controversy this week. Travis Wilson will start at QB against USC this weekend. Why go with Travis instead of the co-starter system?
I think last week Kendall Thompson had every opportunity to show what he could do, and at halftime he had 20 yards rushing, 17 yards passing. They needed a spark in the offense. It wasn't there with Kendall Thompson. Not that Travis Wilson gave him a heck of a lot of spark in the second half. However, he's proven to be a little bit more effective as a starter. I think you'll still see Kendall Thompson come in as you did the first 5 games of the season. So they just went back to Plan A, and you're going to see if they can get things going. But obviously, they have to get a passing game going, and I think they feel that Travis Wilson is their best chance to do that.
Cody Kessler threw for 7 touchdowns over the weekend. He has 18 touchdowns and just 1 pick this season. How did the Utes prevent Kessler and the Trojans' offense from having this kind of success this week?
Well, USC also has the leading rusher in the Pac-12 in Buck Allen, so they're not necessarily just a passing team. They're effective, throwing the ball and running the ball, and I think it's going to take a concerted effort on the defense. Now, Utah does counter with the top team in the nation as far as sacks and tackles for loss, so it's a good way to counter a passing attack. And then the other thing is you've got Brian Blecken, and they're hopeful to have Tevin Carter back, and if they can get Tevin Carter back, that's a good weapon to have to counter Kessler, but he's certainly on a roll right now.
We've reached the midway point of the season. Who is your MVP for the Utes at the midway point?
I think you can make a case for 2 guys. I think on defense you can make it for Nate Orchard, one of the sacks and tackles for loss leaders in the country. He's leading that defense. It's doing a great job. You could also make a case for Booker at running back. He's coming on strong. Like you said, he's carrying quite a load and coming through, and seems to be getting stronger as the season progresses.
Now, finishing with that theme, who is your Pac-12 player of the first half of this season?
That's a good question. I think you can make a case for a lot of guys. Oregon has a lot of talent. Cody Kessler's come on strong for USC. I think statistically, I think you could also make a case for Orchard right now as one of the premier defensive players in the nation right now, and one of the reasons Utah is winning games right now. So, it's awful early to make that call. I think you can make a case for several guys, and at this point, maybe you can flip a coin on several guys, but I think you'd have to include Orchard in there, along with a handful of those Oregon Ducks. As long as they're winning and, the class of the league, you usually have to look at the top team, and then Kessler and USC are coming on strong as well.
Well, that wraps up another edition of 5 Questions About the Utah Utes. Dirk, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks again.